What is up, guys? Welcome to day 10 of the challenge. We're reaching like close to the halfway point today, guys. So curious to see how you all are feeling, how we're like midway through. How's everything going? I will be reaching out to you guys just to kind of check in. We'll do like a personal call. We'll just kind of check, see how your goals are doing, see how things are flowing. So if I haven't reached out to you guys, feel free to reach out to me too, but be doing that soon. So today we're just going to extend the nutrition and want to talk just a little bit more deeper into nutrition timing, and sort of like an easy way that you can start to think about some of those things too. So remember we talked about on the group call how to create more of that balance between having the macros of the protein, carbs, and fats, and trying to balance those out a little bit more during every meal, and just kind of creating that conscious awareness of how are you pairing things together and how is your body responding, and different things. So we'll just kind of do like a brief day, so you can start to see like some good nutritional timing. So in the morning, we want to have that natural cortisol curve, right? It should be strong in the morning and kind of taper off in the afternoon and evening. So that's going to be what wakes us up in the morning. And then when that kind of settles down, it helps us sleep when it's lower in the evening. So kind of having a little bit more of a like protein and fat heavy breakfast, not that you can't have carbs, and it also all depends on when you're working out and things as well. So if you're working out first thing in the morning, then it's going to be it's probably going to look a little different than that. But let's say if you work out in the afternoon or evening, maybe your first meal. So we talked about how I like to wake up and wait for an hour and a half before I have any food, just to let my body kind of do its thing. Um, and I'm just kind of playing around. Like Huberman talked about, like that being a really important thing across the board, no matter what you're doing, as far as like a fasting schedule or an eating schedule, or maybe you're not. Um, you know, tending to wait like an hour before or like after you wake up to ingest anything. So give that a try. You can still have coffee. So I'll have coffee, but nothing that's going to actually mess with like my blood sugar. Well, coffee might a little bit because it's going to spike your cortisol. Um, but essentially, it wouldn't take you out of a fast per se, a fast, right? Because remember, like no matter what you're doing as far as fasting and eating, every night we all fast, right? Like while we're sleeping, we're not eating, we're getting a fast that way. Okay. Um, so thinking about more of a higher fat, higher protein, less carb in for that first meal, that's gonna help keep that cortisol a little bit higher because um, insulin is actually going to shut down that cortisol response, and that's you're going to get more of that from carbohydrates. So having that coffee in the morning, then trying to taper off in the afternoon is going to help for sleep and that stuff as well. And then the next thing to think about timing is we want to regulate blood sugars kind of throughout the day as well. So eliminate just like constant snacking and having more like waiting, 2 to 3 hours in between meals. So that way you're having set points. Um, so that way it manages blood sugars a little bit better because every time we eat, it raises that blood sugar level. And we want our bodies to kind of, you know, um, manage that and kind of decrease the amount of blood sugar and utilize that energy. Okay. And different foods are going to have different effects on that. I would also think about, so the next kind of timing thing to think about is around our workouts. Okay, so depending on what your workout is going to be, it could determine on what you have as well. But let's say just for like even an average to an intense weightlifting workout or cardio session, like anything where it's higher intensity, where you're pushing a lot more. So your body's going to be utilizing reserves of glycogen and stores that are in your muscles and things like that. So you're going to be using that as fuel for that workout. Okay. And another like good way, so it's hard to have like a big meal or a meal and actually you're not going to break down that that nutrient enough to use it for that workout. So most of the time we're running off of the food that we had, let's say last night, and or like fast burning sugars. So I talked about it briefly on the call too. I use like a really fast digesting carb. It's like super fine, really broke down. It's like it's called Carbolin. It's on Carbolin with a K. It's on Amazon. Find something that you like. Basically, I will mix 1 scoop of that and 1 scoop of protein, and I'll take it about 90 minutes to 60 minutes prior to my workout. So that way I have enough time for it to digest and actually utilize it as fuel. And so what I do is I just drink half of that, and then I fill up the shaker bottle with water all the way to the top again. And then I sip on that throughout my workout. So that becomes an intra workout as well. And then if I have a little bit at the end, I'll finish at the end, and it'll sort of be a post. I sometimes will, if I don't have time to eat like an actual meal, I might add a little bit more carbs and more like another scoop of protein. So that way I'm getting that post workout as well. And the biggest benefit to like the pre and eating it that way is that you're going to have a lot better energy. Again, the intra is also going to continue that energy. And then the post is about shutting down the cortisol response. So we want to, like, when we're working out and we're pumping hard, we're in kind of that fight or flight. That's what boosts our cortisol. And that's good, right? Like, we want cortisol because that's our energy, but we want to then shut it off when we're not utilizing it. Because if we don't metabolize it, then we have extra cortisol floating in our body. That's where we get a lot more fat storage. And then we have, like, I want to say, I think it's 4 times more fat receptors like in our midsection. So that's generally why when we have a lot more stress, we tend to carry it into our belly area, right? So another thing to keep in mind, like, if you're getting a lot more weight there, that could be an indication that you just have a lot more stress that needs to be managed and mitigated. Okay. Because we want to be able to decrease all of that. So post workout, getting that cortisol to shut off, the carbs are going to do that the best. Okay, so making sure that you're getting some carbs, and then fats are going to help with hormones, and then also help with muscle recovery and things too. And amino acids from the proteins are going to help too. Okay, so kind of getting a balanced meal after that, after your workout, to kind of shut that down, and start to let your body go into that rest and digest. And then the food's going to also just help to recover you and refuel you. So if you guys are feeling like you're not recovering super well, your energy isn't continuing throughout the week and for your workouts, or if you're getting really, really sore, so you're not recovering as well for the next workout, there's a high likelihood that maybe you're not getting enough carbs overall to facilitate more of that recovery. So maybe start tracking a little bit more on MyFitnessPal and seeing how those numbers kind of play out. That's usually the carbs are usually what we manipulate the most, because it's the energy that we add in like last, right? So when we do a macro prescription, it's all, there's a whole formula, and I mean, you guys can Google it and find the formulas too. So I may have that, may have you guys do that as an assignment too. Let me know if you feel like that would be beneficial, like just having you guys figure out what your like kind of like an average daily, what you could be consuming. So I want to talk about reverse dieting too. We're not going to get into it today, but that'll be if you're really under eating and how you can come back from that and regain your metabolism, because you can't just all of a sudden start eating what you should be eating when you've been eating significantly lower. So you have to kind of incrementally come up. So then let's say post-workout, we'll get back on track. Post-workout, you're shutting down that stress response, and then just continuing to manage and eat more balanced meals throughout the day. Okay. Be aware of eating too heavy before bed. Too much protein or too many fats can still be digesting quite a bit in your stomach while you're sleeping, can affect your sleep, can affect your dreams, things like that. Okay. So the kind of the later part, the day, again, stopping caffeine consumption, I say around, I mean, anywhere between like noon and 2, depending on when you go to sleep and that sort of thing. Um, but trying to minimize that because caffeine has what, an 8-hour half-life, um, something like that. So that means it's still in your system. It's not as strong, but it's going to be affecting you from sleep. Um, Again, so shutting down that cortisol after your workout, and then working on even minimizing the cortisol more as you come to sleep, because you want that curve to be really, really low. So ingesting a little bit more carbs, even nothing crazy, like maybe 20 to 30 grams of carbs. So that wouldn't be weighted grams, that would be whatever it equates out to be. So the difference in the caloric grams of your carbohydrates is going to be different based on what type of carb you're taking in. But I know like bananas are also good for helping sleep. So oftentimes for me at night, I'll just have like a little smoothie of, like a banana and some protein. Um, Maybe some oats, like just enough to where I'm even shutting that cortisol off even more. And then it allows me to sleep. So be thinking about those things, adding that stuff in, and just creating more awareness around how your body's responding when you do that. Do you sleep better? Do are you eating some heavy stuff too late in the day because maybe you have a lot of calories to eat still, or a lot of macros to eat? So then it becomes time management. Maybe you need to start, eating more during the day, or bigger portions or quantities, or more meals, kind of fit whatever works into your lifestyle. But that way you're not having to have this huge meal at the end of the day. On the contrary, if you're not eating enough and then you're starving, um, at night too, then you're more likely to binge and gorge on, higher caloric foods too, that are then going to sit heavier. So yeah, guys, think about that. Add that into your day. Continue up with the 800 grams of fruits and veggies. Remember, that's physical weight. That's not the caloric grams like when we calculate macros. And just continue to see, like, interested, I want to see you guys posting and commenting. Even send a picture of like, hey, this is my fruits and veggies I had today. This is what I'm hitting. Building that community feel, so we're all like, hey, we're all on the same page, right? We're all doing this. We're all creating a better lifestyle for ourselves, and let us know how it's fitting in. All right. I will see you guys tomorrow.